Did you know that 90% of the world's millionaires invest in real estate? Well, I'm Angel with the Academy Presents Real Estate Investing Rocks, and I'm here to help you if you want to go for your piece of that pie. Hi guys, it's Angel with the Academy Presents Real Estate Investing Rocks, and today I have got Amy Stack, and Amy is going to talk with us about cold calling and like using TikTok to actually get a business following, which I know there's some crazy hoopla going on about TikTok, but if something is to happen, take the time you've got left and use it. Exactly. And if something doesn't happen, you still use this time to hustle. So regardless, it can still be used. Some of the neat stuff that I know about Amy, and I kind of talked to this a little bit with her, is she did hair for 11 years. And for any of y'all that don't know about how it works to be a hairstylist or a colorist or a cosmetologist, when you get out of school, you have nobody. Nobody like says, hey, here's a whole list of clients. No. You've got to like build up your clientele and build your reputation and do all of that. Right. And so I find that really unique. When I was teaching college econ for Vernon College, I had two different girls that had done the cosmetology program in high school. So Brandy Sinclair, Renee Buckley, I know you're married now. Your name's Coleman. Well, actually, Brandy's married now too, so her last name is Ohm. But shout out to you two girls because I know both of y'all have salons now, and I remember that being something you were talking about back then. So congratulations, ladies. Congratulations. But I have not met a hairstylist yet that is not a massive hustler. So for you to have made the move from hairstylist to real estate, where it's a little bit of a different hustle, but it's still a hustle, it makes complete sense to me.
Girl, it's all I know. It is all I know. You know, I was either a waitress, a bartender, a hairstylist, or real estate agent. So I'm used to hustling, you know?
Yeah. So most people that I know, if they're not really extroverted, which I'm a crazy extrovert, they have a really tough time cold calling.
Sure.
How do you break into that?
Well, I have to tell you, honestly, even as an extrovert, right? So it is still intimidating. There are still days where I'm like, shit, can I curse on that? Are we good? Can I curse? I'm sorry. So I'm like, shoot, you know, those days where I'm like, I do not want to do this, but it doesn't matter. You know, it's like, you just have to do it. So my real estate team that I joined, because I am from Pennsylvania originally, so I'm out in Michigan now, right outside of Detroit. They taught me how to basically cold call. And I was like, this is terrifying. I don't want to do it. I remember, I'm not even kidding. There were times like when I first started that I would someone would answer and I'd be like, and just hang up because it's terrifying, you know?
Oh yeah.
And even being an extreme extrovert, it's still something that you just have to think, okay, here's my goals and this is what I'm doing. And I make it fun. You know, sometimes people answer and they're like, no. So I'll say, are you a robot? I had a guy who was like, no. So I said, are you a robot? And he goes, no. And then he's like, wait, no, I'm not a robot. It was just so funny. So funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, I just kind of make it like a game some days, like how many people can I talk to? How many times do I get hung up on? How many people curse me out, you know, but the objective is all the same, and it's getting appointments. And once COVID started, because open houses and cold calling were my main stream of getting leads and hustling, but mostly open houses, and I couldn't do that. So I had to shift extremely quickly.
Yeah. Well, we've got there's a couple of houses in our neighborhood that are up, they're up for sale. And one of them, I walked by the other day and there were all these signs taped to the walls and taped to the door. And I'm like, what the heck? So I go and look at it. And one of the signs says, inside the door, you will find masks and hand sanitizer and gloves. Please make sure you mask up and glove up and use hands. And I was like, holy night. Because it's got a door hanger. So anybody that has the information can get into it. So I thought it was pretty cool that like the main listing agent had made those signs and put a table inside the door. I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming there's a little table inside the door with all of the materials that someone
So
needs.
there's like a bunch of like ours have shoe covers and gloves and masks
wow.
and hand sanitizer. And if you're not going to put on the shoe covers, please remove your shoes. But yeah, I mean, we had to shift extremely quickly, and me doing open houses to cold calling was a big shift, but it's worked.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, and you said like in your bio, I read that you joined a team that's I don't want to say pushy. That's a bad way to say it, but like they really supported you in being a little bit more assertive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So like my mom is the nicest person in the world. Okay. And we like to say that she gets walked all over sometimes. And I wouldn't say that I got walked all over, but I would bend a lot more, and it has made me very assertive in a good way, and they encouraged me to, I'd say be more assertive and actually like go after things and not just kind of passively let things happen. Right. So it's a good thing. Yeah.
Well, I understand that one. So like for me personally, in the past few weeks, I actually knocked on somebody's door.
Yes.
So we own some properties, but we've always used agents. We've always used realtors. We've just never done it ourselves, like to go out and initiate.
Sure.
And we've been looking at this house in our neighborhood. And so I had skip traced her. I found her on Facebook. She hadn't posted since like 2018. I'm like, since 2018, that's 2 years. The house had been probated to her way back in 92. I'm like, this lady has moved on. She's not living in this house anymore.
Yeah.
So I see a car in the driveway one day, and I knock on the door, and lo and behold, who answers the door but the lady?
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
I know who you are.
Like, you're not supposed to be answering this door. You're supposed to be like in a retirement village or something.
Yes.
She's got to be in her 80s. She's got to be. But she doesn't act like she's in her 80s. She's very sprightly and came to the door quickly and is on her smartphone. And I'm like,
you're like,
and so I was like, as extroverted as I am, I was still like, oh, hi. Do you know if the owner would be interested in selling this house?
Yeah. So you're doing
she was like, no, because I'm the owner. And I was like, oh, okay, have a great day.
Yes. So that's what I used to do, right? So people would say, no, like I do not want to do that. So now instead of saying, okay, bye, or like, when I could door knock, like, okay, bye, and just turn around, it's like, oh, okay, so you're happy here, so like maybe you could use that on her a little bit, like, oh, so you're happy here? How long have you lived here?
Well, she's lived there for a while because the backyard is disgusting and the pool is green.
Oh my gosh. So no wonder you want that house. You're like, I could do something with this.
I mean, I scoped out the whole place. I was like, there's no way anybody's living here. But
so she does live there though?
I don't know. I rarely ever see the car there. The trash was out for the first time in months on Tuesday. And I go for a walk every morning, and I arranged to like be done with my water as I was walking by her trash can so that I could throw away my bottle in her trash can. And there was this huge box of Franzia boxed wine and a big like clear clamshell that like baked goods come in, and not like a 4-pack. This was like that 20-pack of croissants from Sam's or Costco.
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
maybe she had a boyfriend, but she broke up with him. Now she's back and having a Franzia and
I don't know
party,
But it's kind of embarrassing to say that, I looked in her trash, but
oh no, girl. When you're trying to buy a house, you got to do whatever you can. All right.
Yeah, I guess I kind of share that to just say that for people that are scared of cold calling, door knocking is scary too.
Oh my God, door knocking is terrifying.
Yeah, so cold calling shouldn't be as scary as door knocking.
It's not, but it's still something like a mental hurdle that you have to get over, because it wasn't something that when I was in hair, it's not like I was cold calling, so definitely a mental hurdle that my team helped me get over, but also still terrifying.
Yeah. But I like, once you've done it, I think it gets easier because like, I'm not afraid to go door knock now. Now I know if somebody comes to the door, you better have a pretty good like idea of what you're going to say instead of, oh,
Yep. And that's like the more you do it, right? So it's like you'll start to get these little responses that you're like, oh, I know what to say to that, or I know what to say to that. And, you know, if someone says next time you see a property you like and you have the cojones to go and knock on the door, you'll be like, oh, so what if they say no? So now you already know. You're like, oh, well, how long have you lived here? What do you love about this house? You know, so
I'm not going to be like, oh, so 1,700 square feet. That's what they said on CAD. And you got it in 92 from probate 2 months after your husband passed away.
I mean, not that I would know.
And not that I Facebook, checked your whole family and have addresses for relatives or.
Not at all. I mean, I know that your cat's name is, wait, do you like cats? That's weird. I like cats. No,
I tell you, the amount of information you can get out there is just astounding.
It's almost like terrifying.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I guess I share that part too, just to say that one of the tricks that I learned, and this was not in real estate, when I was in college, I did some sales and stuff, was that you ask for an endless referral.
Sure.
Every time you get off the phone with somebody, you say, hey, do you happen to know somebody else I could call? Or, do you have a friend that you think might be interested?
Yeah, exactly.
And that way it's not a cold call. I mean, it still technically is, but it's not. And then I always ask, well, can I name drop you?
Yeah, of course.
That it wasn't, it was still a cold call, but at least there was something to relate you to that person.
Yeah, yeah.
And by having a name, you could do a little bit of research.
Oh, yeah.
So on company or something.
Yeah.
So it wasn't quite so bad.
Yeah, that's something that I've started. I started maybe a month or two ago asking at the end of my cold call, okay, so after I've exhausted all options with them, like, no, not selling, no, never thought about blah, blah, blah. And I say, oh, okay, do you know of anyone that's maybe looking to buy or sell within the next year? Because then it's like, oh, well, the next year, let me think, but yeah, so I've gotten some good leads from that as well. And these people don't even know me, but it's like, they almost feel indebted to you. They want to help you.
Well, I think that's human nature too.
Sure.
Is you want to help people. And when you ask people for help,
yeah,
it's like they want to help you more.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat. So have you developed like a set of questions that you start with when you call someone, or have you just kind of gotten a groove over time? Or
I do. I have a full script that I use. And it's, this is funny. So I do I sold a home in your area recently, and where we are, the Metro Detroit area, the market is insane right now. So many buyers, not enough inventory. So people are getting obviously top dollar for their homes. And there's some people that know that, some people that don't. So my big thing is like educating, also, getting people excited. But yes, I do have a set of questions. I have, my script, obviously. And if you can't tell, I talk a lot with my hands. So if we do videos.
I don't have a poker face, and having a mask on is a real detriment to me because I talk so much and use my face so much that it's constantly sliding down my face. Yeah. So then I'm touching it, and then it's sliding down, and then I'm touching it. I'm just like, oh,
well, this is pointless, right? Pointless. So when I'm calling, if I'm not using my hands while I'm talking, I feel like I'm not like getting that emotion out to them like I should be. So that's like people ask me, they're like, well, how do you connect with someone over the phone? I'm like, I don't know. I just use my hands and talk to them.
Well, I really like Zoom because you can actually see the person, but you can't FaceTime somebody you don't know. Like,
I know, right? That would be really creepy. Also, I'd be up for it. Just start cold calling.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
Just start FaceTiming cold calling people.
Answer your FaceTime. Hi, I'm Amy. How are you?
Never.
You know what though? If nobody else is doing that, what kind of a ripple could you make?
Seriously. So we did all of our, like I had buyers and sellers that I never even met during quarantine, so it's like, if I can have buyer and listing consultations over Zoom, why can I not like kind of cold? I don't know. That'd be awesome. I feel like it's maybe the next wave of cold calling. We send out video texts to like, so leads that we get in our system, we send out video texts. If I can't get a hold of them for so many days, I'll send out video text, video email. So it's kind of the same thing, right? Except they're not there to give you that look like, who is this? Like, who are you?
Okay, so you said June was your biggest month.
June
Like,
was
I feel like July was kind of our first month that was like sort of kind of normal-ish.
sure. So
like moving back toward normal. How was June so big for you?
So realtors were deemed essential on May. I don't know where you are. Were they?
We're in Texas. I think
so were they?
We were essential the whole time.
Oh, they were?
Maybe.
So actually Michigan, and I believe Michigan, Pennsylvania, and maybe a few other states were the only states that realtors could not work. So we were not allowed to go to showings. We weren't allowed to go to people's houses for consults, which I get, whatever. But so we had to find different ways of doing business. So that whole time I was just kind of like March, April, building my pipe. And then May 7th, when we were deemed essential, it just, for lack of better terms, exploded, like my pipe just exploded. So, yeah, once we were deemed essential May 7th, it was like go time. So got a ton of people under contract. And yeah, I mean, it was good.
Well, and that would have to be tough too for people that like needed to move for job purposes or for whatever purposes, because they'd be stuck with that double mortgage where they move to their new location, but they can't sell their other house because they can't talk to anybody. They can't get it under contract. They can't do anything with it.
Here's the crazy thing is we did get people. So I had one buyer who never even saw the house, put an offer in. Wow. And we had people doing that. So they could go to the inspection. I couldn't go to the inspection. I couldn't go to anything. I know, it was stupid.
That's weird.
Very weird.
Well, stupid. Your word was better. Insane, asinine.
Exactly. But there were still so we still had people listing their homes, and they would go through, do a video tour of it, and we put it online, and we had multiple offers. It's just Metro Detroit real estate right now is wild. So,
but that would be really, I wouldn't want, because I mean, like I said, it was my first door knock experience a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
We only ever use realtors. So I cannot imagine trying to go into a house and do a video tour because I don't know how to do that. I hire people to do that.
We would guide them through it. We did. We guided them through it. And actually, so we kind of got wind a few days before the shutdown that we weren't going to be essential anymore. So our media guy went out. It was like a 2-day process. He went out and did all of our listings that we had active and did 3D tours of them. Yeah. So it was a lot for him in like a few days. But then if we got new listings during quarantine, then we would guide them through that process and help them. So yeah, new way of doing business. Honestly, I didn't hate it because, as a realtor, half of my day is in my car. So it's like, I wasn't leaving my house. Like I was not in my car. I was not going to showings. So it's like, this actually isn't the worst thing in the world.
Well, and I think that because I was teaching middle school until February of this year. Okay. I still teach college too, but yeah. I really feel like education is fixing to. I'm from the South.
I love it. They are fixing to.
I think that education is about to see a movement toward that virtual landscape.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think that
like so many businesses were able to make that pivot and make that leap into that virtual environment.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see it a lot more.
How do you feel about that as a teacher?
Well, I've been teaching virtual for the university I work for since 2007.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So I've been doing that forever and ever.
Yeah.
But as far as like my youngest, or not my youngest, my third child will be entering kindergarten this year, and I just signed her up for remote.
Yeah.
And our fifth grader, he's not really fifth grade, he's special needs, so he's developmentally, he's probably around 2 to 3 years old.
Sure.
But he's got profound autism, and I signed him up for the remote learning because I feel like those two, I think the mask would be an issue.
Sure.
And I feel like I don't want Josephine going to school and feeling like this is what school's like. You don't get to see your friends' faces.
Sure.
You don't get to
Yeah.
you don't get to hug your friends.
Yep.
So she and I discussed it. It was a weird conversation because I was like, well, you'd have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But mommy, your mask would be too big.
Oh, no, one of my best friends is a middle school teacher, and she had the exact same conversation. Now her daughter is going into second, I believe, but literally had the same conversation as her. Said, do you want to do homeschool, or do you want to go to school with your friends, but you're not going to be able to hug them. You're not going to be able to do all the things that you're used to. But yeah, she had the same exact conversation. So it's,
yeah, my 12-year-old wants to go face-to-face. So I signed her commitment form today to go face-to-face because, well, she's a cheerleader and she wants to be at school, but I don't know when she's going to wear her uniform because I don't know when they're going to have games everybody can go to. So I guess that $450 we spend on cheer stuff is just going to be worn to the school. I don't know, like everyday uniform.
Yep. Oh, girl after my own heart. I only go to school to socialize and be a cheerleader. That was me.
But I mean, I just feel like we've seen a lot of success moving into this virtual landscape.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's a good thing. And me personally going to virtual meetups and doing it on the virtual scale, I've met so many more people from across the nation.
Yeah.
Whereas if we were stuck with the face,
if
we were stuck in that face-to-face, I mean, I say stuck, we're right next to Dallas Fort Worth. So we have a really big market to get to.
Sure.
But it's been really cool to meet people from like the East Coast, or meet people from up north, or over on, from Nevada and California, people that I probably would have never met.
Yep. It is really cool. Yeah, that is really, really cool.
I think it's neat. Like I probably would have never met you.
Yeah.
If it weren't in the virtual environment.
I know. It's really, really cool. Yeah. My husband, he's big into the virtual, like that whole thing. And, it's funny because I love people so much. And he's like, you're terrible at making relationships online. I'm like, I don't know why. Like, and I love people so much. So I need to be better about that. Like, outgoing online. He's like the one that has he's always talking to people online. I'm like, who are you talking to? He's like, yeah, my friend blah, 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 out in California. I'm like, oh, cool, So I need to be better about that.
Yeah. Now I will say that I'm really good about meeting people on Facebook and getting to know people through Messenger.
Yes.
I'm not going to drop his name, but I had this one friend that he was like, we've been chatting for a long time.
Yeah.
And finally one day he said, I thought you were a long con. I thought you were going to be some old guy that had been conning me this whole time. And then he finally said, I don't even know you and I trust you.
That's amazing.
Wow. Because it turned out that he was looking at properties back in my hometown, my little bitty hometown. And so he gave me the property address and I was telling him, okay, this is where it is. This is about 3 minutes from First Baptist Church. And he was like, why are you helping me? And I'm like, why not? It's my hometown. I know where everything is. I mean, and he starts talking about other properties. I'm like, well, let me shoot a question to my property manager there in town and see what she says about this location.
Yeah. I love that. I just love that.
But he's like, I just knew you were a long con. I just knew you were. And when I was in Houston in February, I met him face to face. Actually, I went to his sister's birthday party with him and his girlfriend because it was the first time we'd ever met face to face. And I was like, hey.
I love that. That is so awesome. That is so cool.
It was fun. And it was the hardest part about being on Messenger and developing relationships on Messenger is you have to stop thinking of it as being on Messenger.
Yeah.
And you have to think of it as more of, we're having a conversation. And then like I give the person a voice in my head so that I'm always hearing their voice.
That's a great idea.
And now that I've met him, it's like I hear his voice when we're texting. Yeah. But it was before that, I give a voice to the person so that they're more real.
Well, exactly. I would give like a really funny voice. And then when you hear their real voice, it's like, no.
Well, I don't do like Elmo or Kermit voices. I try and do like normal voices, but that would be pretty memorable too.
Oh, funny. That's awesome.